We all have this picture in our heads of what a border is. But what if I told you that entire idea is being turned on its head? That it's not just a line on a map anymore, but something way more complex, something that moves with us, something that's even personal. Let's dive in.
So let's just start with that basic question. What is a border? Seriously, when you think of one, what do you see? A fence, maybe? A river? A line of booths at an airport? For most of human history, the answer was pretty simple.
It was just that, a line on a map. A nice, clean, geographical edge where one country stops and the next one starts. A static, physical thing. But that simple definition, it's being completely upended by one of the most powerful forces shaping our world today, the sheer number of people on the move. To really get why that line on the map is getting so blurry, we have to wrap our heads around the incredible scale of modern migration. We're talking about a historic number of people crossing those lines, and it's forcing a total rethink of how we even think about controlling them. Now check this out. Even way back in 2005, there were 191 million international migrants. That number had more than doubled in just 25 years. That's about 3% of the entire world's population on the move. And this isn't just about finding a new job. This number includes millions of refugees who are just trying to find safety from war and persecution. So, where's everyone heading? Well, back in 2005, Europe was the top destination, with Asia and North America right behind. But here's what might surprise you. We tend to focus on migration to wealthy, developed countries, right? But the patterns are actually way more complex. At that time, almost 40% of all migrants were living in less developed nations. Okay, so this massive movement of people has caused a huge shift in how we talk about it. Right after World War II, a lot of Western countries were literally inviting migrant workers to come help rebuild. So how did we get from that to today, where migration is so often talked about like it's a major security threat?
You can actually watch it happen over the decades. In the 50s and 60s, migrants were an essential part of the workforce. Simple as that. But then, come the 70s, the whole issue gets politicized. It becomes this hot-button public topic tied to social order. Then, fast forward to the 90s, and Europe officially starts linking immigration policy with things like terrorism and crime. And then, after 9/11, that whole process just went into overdrive. Migration suddenly became a central piece of counterterrorism.
This quote, this is from a really infamous 1968 speech by a British politician named Enoch Powell. And it's just a brutal example of that politicization phase we were just talking about. You can see right there how the conversation shifted away from economics and straight into a fear-based narrative about threats to national identity, really stoking a lot of public anxiety. Now, this move from a political problem to a security problem, it actually has a name. It's called securitization. It's basically the process of taking an issue, like migration, and framing it as an existential threat. And once you do that, once you convince people it's a life or death danger, you can justify taking all sorts of extraordinary measures that go way beyond normal politics. It becomes an emergency. And this securitization has led to this single biggest change of all. It has totally reimagined what a border even is and where you can find one. See, the response to this perceived threat wasn't just to build higher fences. It was to completely reinvent the border itself. This slide right here nails the transformation. The old border, a line on a map. Its job was to stop people. The new border, it's a mobile, networked system. Its job is to filter and manage people. It's not just at the edge of a country anymore. It is literally everywhere. And it's gone from being territorial, about controlling land, to biopolitical, which is a fancy way of saying it's now about managing populations, about managing you. So what does this new border actually look like? Well, first, it's thick. It's not a thin line you cross. It's a whole zone of checks and questions and searches. It's also offshored, pushed way out beyond a country's actual land. A perfect example is the EU's Frontex agency, running surveillance off the coast of West Africa. They're trying to stop migrants long before they ever get close to Europe. And finally, it's mobile and preemptive, deciding if you're a risk before you've even packed your bags. Which brings us to the final and honestly the most mind-bending part of this story. If the border is mobile, if it's preemptive, where is it? The answer is, it's on you. Your body and your data have become the new frontier. This is what's known as the biometric border. It's a system that doesn't focus on a piece of land, but on people's bodies. It uses your unique biological data, your fingerprints, your iris scans, along with your digital footprint, your travel history. And it uses all of that to build a profile that decides how you're going to be managed and controlled.
Think about how this works. Before you even get on a plane, your information is sent ahead. An algorithm crunches that data and spits out a risk profile. Then, when you get to the airport, your fingerprints or your face are scanned. And based on that profile, you're filtered. The decision about whether you're legitimate or not, it's made long before you ever talk to a human being. In a very real way, you are carrying the border with you.
This is a massive, massive shift. The border is no longer just some physical line that divides two pieces of land. It has literally moved from the map to the human body. It's become a collection of data points and risk scores that define our very ability to move around the world.
And so that leaves us with a really deep question for our future. If the border isn't a fixed line anymore, if it's this fluid, data-driven system that exists everywhere in databases and on our own bodies, then who gets to write the code? Who decides who belongs and who gets left out?